What's good, TMG fam? It's your boy Ellen. I'm back with another reaction. How y'all feel? Welcome back to the channel. Salute. Listen, this is one of them videos to snap you back into reality. It's one of these videos, man, if you out in the street right now, you wilding out, you living reckless, dangerously, you know what I mean? Hey, now and then we got to watch one of them videos to snap us back into reality and see how bad it could get out here. You know what I'm saying? So let's check this out. This is 10 people who freaked out after getting a life sentence. So you're about to see some people wild out in the courtroom.
You're busted and the verdict's in. You've just found out that thanks to a judge, you've lost your freedom forever. You'll never see the outside.
And the thing about that is you see some of the toughest, some of the hardest criminals. Like when that judge banged that gavel and he start handing out them football numbers. You know what I'm saying? We call them football numbers because if you look on football jerseys, 9 times out of 10, like, they be having like the 55 or 60. Those be the big numbers we talking about. You know what I mean? Linemen usually have them type of numbers. But when that judge bang that gavel and start handing out them football numbers, bro, like I said, even the toughest, hardest criminals, hardcore, straight up, they fold.
World again, and you're likely thinking of freaking out. Well, that's what people do every single day in court when they're sentenced to life behind bars. Court surveillance cameras have caught some of the craziest freakouts of all time. And in some cases, it's not just the convicts who are freaking out. Arthur Booth.
Oh yeah, it be the families too. Yeah, it's tough on the families. That's what I say, man. When you go to jail, it ain't just you doing that bid in jail. It's you and your family doing that bid in jail because they gotta suffer.
In 2016, Arthur Booth was on the stand. This was for a burglary he'd committed. But as soon as the Miami judge, Mindy Glazer, asked one question, Booth burst into tears. She said, "Did you go to Nautilus Middle School?"
Yes, ma'am. Did you go to Nautilus for middle school?
And that's when all Arthur could bring himself to say was, "Oh my goodness, oh my goodness."
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
I'm sorry to see you there. I always wondered what happened to you, sir.
Oh my goodness.
This is the nicest kid in middle school.
Oh my goodness.
He was the best kid in middle school. I used to play football with him and all the kids. And look what has happened. I'm so sorry to see
Oh
you.
my goodness.
Dang, that's tough. I thought she was gonna say like I was his teacher back then, but no, she actually attended school with him, bro. That's gotta be like a reality check for him right there. That's why he breaking down, cause he thinking back to when his life was at its simplest time, bro. You didn't have to get to this point.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
He burst into tears because he realized he went to middle school with the judge. They clearly took different paths in life, and she became a judge and he became a criminal. It was very sad that Mindy had to sentence her former childhood friend. Judge Glazer said, "I'm sorry to see you. I always wondered what happened to you." But Arthur's reaction and freak out was quite warranted. This was a crazy coincidence and must have made him and Mindy feel pretty bad. Angry father. This is one of the most dramatic outbursts in court. But amazingly, it did not come from the convict. One day, a man who had taken another man's life was on the stand. That's when he pled insanity, saying that he should go to a mental home and not a prison. The judge was listening, but one person in the courtroom was not having it.
You need to go to prison. You don't need to be laying no mental hospital. He wasn't crazy when he murdered my son, man. He wasn't crazy then, but he crazy now. All of a sudden, he crazy now. You want to lay in a mental hospital? You done murdered my son, man, for nothing. When he was trying to get away from you. You were trying to get away from you, man.
That was...
Any father could recognize that. Any father can understand how much pain he in right now. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, nah, don't try to claim you mental now. Nah, I have to go home and I never see my son again. Like, I gotta live with this. Take your punishment as a man. Stand up on your own 2 feet as a man. Take what's coming to you. You was man enough to take a life. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's tough to see, bro. Because you can see the pain he feeling, man. You gotta think about it. When you first get together with you and your significant other decide to have a kid, a man He wants that son carry on his name, his legacy. You know what I'm saying? Things he could pass down to and different things like that. He don't have that no more. He was stripped away. It was stripped away from him. I feel him on this one.
Was Donald Byrd, the father of the victim. He stood up and began shouting, overwhelmed with emotion. He said, "You're saying you're crazy now, but you weren't crazy when you took the life of my son." Donald was so annoyed and freaking out that he had to be removed from the courtroom by a cop. Eventually, he was also held back by his own family and led out of the courtroom.
You kept shooting him while his back was under the truck. You kept shooting him, man. You kept shooting him in his back. His back was turned to you, man. He was trying to get away from you. And you murdered him, man, like that. You murdered him, man, like that. Why you doing it like that, man? And you want to play crazy, man? You ain't crazy.
That's tough, bro. That's straight up tough right there, man. I get, and I don't blame him, bro. I know a lot of y'all like, man, I'd have been worse than that. Yeah. They wouldn't even allow me in the courtroom, bro. Cause that close, they wouldn't allow me in the courtroom, bro. You took my son from me. You might as well have took me too. You should have did him and then came and found me and did me.
But the judge did not hold him in contempt of court. After all, as a father, it's pretty understandable that he was very annoyed. The defendant, Lucas Kendall, was later convicted. This was for taking the life of Kishwan Byrd, Donald's son, and also injuring Michael Smathers. Lucas is now facing life behind bars for what he did. Door kicker. This is a situation where not only does the defendant freak out, but the judge does as well. This case was being broadcast on the People's Court. That's when Judge Millian got very annoyed and accused the defendant of lying. The defendant had apparently badly damaged the plaintiff's car. That's when the defendant realizes the case is not going his way. He tries to make a break for it by kicking open the court door and running off.
Car! He kicked my car too! Who's gonna pay for
you know what? He just kicked my door. Never mind.
He's apprehended by the courtroom cops before he can actually leave the room. But that's when Judge Millian orders him to leave.
Does he just get the heck out of my courtroom now? Out! Out!
I told you.
As you heard, she shouts, "Get the heck out of my courtroom right now." She finds the man who stormed off guilty and says, "Oh Lord."
Oh yeah. You didn't think he was gonna win after that, did he? It made great for TV for her. You know what I mean? But come on, you didn't think he was gonna win after that. It didn't matter what he did. He could have been given a compelling case. Once you did that, bro, you pretty much hung yourself there.
Oh, Lord above.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Therefore, I find in your favor.
It seems pretty obvious that if you're trying to defend yourself, it's not the best course of action to kick down the court door. But I guess some people never learn.
Car! He kicked my car too!
And just thinking about it, this video says 10 people who freaked out after getting a life sentence. Totally deceiving. Don't y'all associate me with this clickbait. That's what I thought the video was, bro. It's totally different. Still a good video. Don't get me wrong. Still a good video. But I'm like halfway through it. I'm like, hold on. Aren't we supposed to be talking about life sentences? Nah, this is just people just going crazy.
Who's gonna pay for
You know what? He just kicked my door. Never mind.
Bryce Rhodes. This one took place in Louisville, Kentucky. A man named Bryce Rhodes was in court various times over a big case. He was accused of taking 3 lives. Bryce was such a problem in court that he went through 4 attorneys. He kept firing them and some also ditched him.
Your job is to do your job, not to worry about me. That's what I'm saying. Well, I worry about me. You worry about your self.
In one situation, he accused the judge of being biased. That's because Bryce said that he's a person of color.
You denied all my motions. Every motion I filed, you did deny it.
I'm pretty sure I've denied the vast
Every
majority
motion I
of pro
filed?
se motions that have ever been
Are you some
filed.
type of racist?
At another point in time, this man spit on an attorney. That's why in court he had to wear a face mask. He also had an outburst in court where he said to the judge, "You're gonna find out real quick." I'm not exactly sure what that means, but I think he was trying to scare the judge.
Get us a date to come back.
No. You're gonna find out though. You're gonna find out real quick. Promise that.
One of Bryce's victim's grandparents then stood up and yelled at the judge. She said this has been going on for 4 years and nothing has been done.
Going on for 4 years. and nothing's been done.
But the judge realized that she's simply grieving and is very sad and angry. And amazingly, this trial is still going on, and Bryce Rhodes may have even more outbursts in the future. Jerry Collins. Jerry Collins is actually a judge. She is said to be one of the most fierce judges in all of Florida. But the worst thing she's ever done took place in July of 2015. One woman had been very badly injured by her husband, Miles. She was supposed to show up in court to testify against him, but because she was dealing with anxiety because of what had happened, she did not show up. Later on, she did go to court and apologized to Judge Jerry Collins. But the judge simply did not care and was very rude to this woman.
You're required to be here by a court order.
Berated.
You disobeyed a court order.
My anxiety, and
You think you're gonna have anxiety now? You haven't even seen anxiety.
She then sentenced her to time in jail because she didn't show up to the trial.
I'm in a good place right now.
And violating a court order didn't.
I get it, man. The rules are the rules, but in some certain instances, bro, we gotta make exceptions, man. You know, it should be at the judge's discretion, but obviously, this judge here doesn't know what discretion is, man. You ain't like, and it's not just that judge. You hear about judges all the time. Oh, if you get that judge, be careful. Whoa, don't get that judge. Oh, you got that judge, he ain't gonna be lenient on you at all. This judge here, and everywhere you live, I guarantee if I poll 10, 20 people and ask them where they live at, and the judge in their area or town they heard about all the time, they'd have a name for me. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has one. So I don't think it's just this Florida judge, but yeah, man, sometimes it's like these judges have it out for you. Or you know what I mean? Either they having a bad day or what. Now, granted, yes, the judges are supposed to be hard. They're supposed to be, but they're supposed to be fair at the same time. And they're supposed to have some bit of, like I said, discretion as well. But you rarely see it sometimes.
Did not do anything for you. I hereby find you in contempt of court. Turn around.
So even though she was the victim in this case, she was still sent to jail. When the video of this went viral, it caused outrage online. People could not believe that a judge would be so nasty to a victim. The comments on the video called Judge Jerry Collins intolerable. And it's honestly a pretty sad video to watch. Savage judge. So this is yet another case of the judge as well as the defendant freaking out. This took place in Jackson County, Missouri. Kamia Garrett took the life of her boyfriend. During the trial, one of the boyfriend's family members was speaking, but that's when Kamia interrupted, saying, "Is that it?" Of course, this is very rude to someone grieving.
What? I can imagine you saying that to one of my family members. It'd have been another murder in there, bro. They'd have had to, you know how many family members of mine they'd have had to tase or take out?
And the judge, John McBain, lost his cool. He said, "Shut your mouth or I'm gonna get some duct tape."
You're gonna shut your mouth or I'm gonna have some duct tape put on it.
Well, he attacked me.
All right.
Kamia then began to grin and laugh. And that's when Judge McBain said something I'm sure no judge has ever said before. He basically said to Kamia, "I hope you pass away in prison."
I hope you die in prison as well. You know, if this was a death penalty state, you'd be getting a chair.
He also said that if the state had captured...
You know what? I ain't even mad at him. I ain't mad at him. I mean, can you blame him at that point? She done already took life. You think she'd have a little bit of remorse or feel some type of way? No, she was sitting in jail. I mean, sitting in court like. I mean, can y'all hurry it? Can y'all speed this up? Like, take me back to my cell. Like, y'all got me missing commissary. I got other things to be doing, man. Could you speed this up, lady, with your reading? I don't blame that judge, bro. And every time, if she is to get parole, I hope she get denied. Every single time she come up for parole, I hope she get denied. That's crazy.
Capital punishment, then she'd be getting the chair. Instead though, 31-year-old Kamia is getting life behind bars. It may sound harsh what the judge said, but she did take the life of Marcel Hill. According to the case, she actually did this with a hammer. After McBain had cooled down, he actually defended his outburst. The judge said, "I don't think I did anything wrong. But do you agree with the judge, or do you think he went too far? It's not exactly professional, but...
Yeah, it's not professional. I mean, we know it's not professional, but I get it. That's why I started that off saying, I get it. I understand. You know what I mean? Sometimes you can't help yourself. And when somebody in the courtroom being that disrespectful, that blatant, that just inhumane, just, yeah, like, I get it. Outbursts like that, I get it.
Then again, the defendant was being very rude to the victim's family. Elizabeth Escalona. Elizabeth Escalona may take the award for the world's worst mother. She badly injured her daughter, and in one case even glued her daughter's hands to the wall. The judge even said it's a surprise her 2-year-old daughter lived through it all. For doing what she did, Elizabeth was sentenced to 99 years in prison. Elizabeth reels over in shock and cries.
I'll set your sentence at confinement in the penitentiary for a period of 99 years. The sentence goes into effect today. As required by law, you will receive all back time credits.
And then in the background, her mother began...
It don't matter how much back time you get. It was 99 years, bro, but that's what happens when you do stuff to children, man. Again, I really don't feel no... You even glued her hands to the wall. Like, and I know that's probably not the worst of it, but you glued her hands to the wall? Yeah.
Crying even louder. A courtroom cop actually has to check on her.
Counsel, is there any reason in law why sentence should not be pronounced at this time? Safely held to be turned over to a duly authorized receiving agent of the Institutional Division of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice.
Standing convict. One day, one man was in court accused of taking a life. That's when all of a sudden he gets angry at what the judge is saying. He tries to declare his right to stand up in court. But that right is not a legal right and he's told to sit down. However, he won't, and he has to be held down by about 7 cops. He apparently removed the head of a 19-year-old. Angry judge. One day in court, the defendant begins to freak out. He leaves his seat, but there's not many courtroom cops.
You're going to jail for a year in the county, 365 days county jail.
That's when the judge actually gets up and tries to help out. He takes off his gown and begins to help the cop in restraining this man.
Put your hands behind your back.
Lance Dyer. One day Lance Dyer stole a vehicle and took the police in a high-speed chase. This chase was actually caught on police dashcam. For this, he was sentenced to 11 years behind bars. We can't see Lance's reaction because he's facing away from the camera, but we do see his sister freak out and then she has to be removed from court.
Stay.
Man, my brother got 13 years old.
Of course, what Lance did was not right, but I kind of feel bad for the sister because it's not her fault. Just imagine knowing your sibling was going to be spending more than a decade behind bars. But now it's time to make your voice heard. Comment below which free...
That's why I keep saying, man, it's not just you. Your family has to endure everything you do, man. Think about it before you out here living, like I said, recklessly, wilding out, thinking it's cool. You know what I'm saying? It all comes crashing down at some point. And when you get there and that judge start handing out them years and he bang that gavel, you got to realize it's real life, fam. It's real life. Your life is forever altered, changed. So is your family. So is your kids. You know what I mean? They're going to be different when you come home. You got to deal with all of that. You know what I mean? But y'all get at me in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think, man. 10 people who freaked out after getting... We're not going to say everybody got life sentences. Some people did, some people didn't. All right? Till the next reaction, I'm out. Peace. Y'all stay solid. Hey.